Well, hey there, everyone. So this week we're gonna do something a little bit crafty. And I am going to take out my air dry clay again. So I'm going to make a yarn bowl. I've been seeing these all over TikTok where people will make these air dry clay yarn bowls and they will make them like cats or whatever. So since it's Halloween season, going to make them pumpkin. I'm gonna make a little jack-o'-lantern yarn bowl. So if you don't know what a yarn bowl is, it's basically a bowl where you put your little ball of yarn in and it has a little hole that you feed your string through so that it can roll in the bowl and you can just keep pulling your yarn whenever you need it. So that's what I'm going to be making. I've been thinking about the design, so I kind of want it to be like probably about this big. And I've seen some yarn bowls where it will have one hole to put the string through, but instead I think I want to do the other kind of yarn bowl where you can still take the string out so that I'm not like stuck with the bowl the entire project if I don't want it to be. So I need to kind of figure out how to gracefully put an opening for the string to come from the top of the bowl down to where I want the hole to be. But pretty much the design that I want it to be is just like a pumpkin, a little rounded, and then I'm probably gonna have a little jack-o'-lantern eyes. I don't know if I want to cut them out or paint them on yet. And then the mouth, I feel I will have like completely open, and then maybe just have like a little slit going all the way up through the top, just so I can have that little gap there for the yarn to come in and out. So we're gonna go ahead and get my clay going. So today I should be able to form it and everything, and then I will have to leave it to dry, and then tomorrow I can paint it and gloss it, and then it will be done. So obviously from the thumbnail and from the title of this video, we know that this is not going to be a jack-o'-lantern bowl. So I'll explain why and how this changed to an Enoch bowl, but for now, let's just talk about how I constructed the bowl itself. So after taking a giant clump of this air dry clay, I just went ahead and I took a rolling pin and I flattened it out as much as I could, but not too much because you still want some thickness to this bowl. Then I took a bowl that I already owned, and with some plastic wrap over it, I kind of molded this sheet of clay onto this bowl. Then to smooth out all of the lumps and bumps, I took a sponge, a wet sponge, and I just smoothed over all of the surface. Alright, so I've got my bowl kind of going here. And while that's resting, I think while I have my clay out, I'm just going to go ahead and do some other clay crafty things that I've been meaning to do. So I think I want to make a little like worm paintbrush holder, and then maybe a little chopstick holder. Not necessarily related to the video, but I just wanted to make them while I'm here, so I might as well show them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while this is resting. And then for the little worm, I just kind of rolled out a little thing of clay and then folded it into worm form. And for the little chopstick holder, I decided to do a dumpling because I thought that was very fitting. So I just kind of molded it into a little dumpling and made the little wiggly edges on the top of this dumpling. Now to make this more pumpkin-y, I used this little rubber tool and I created some lines in the side of this bowl. Then I went ahead and I trimmed the excess on the edges of this bowl. Now here you can see I'm trying to figure out the design that I was going to do the jack-o'-lantern, if I was going to cut it, and I decided I was not happy with how it looked, so I just kind of smoothed it over all over again. And instead, I created the little yarn swirl that the yarn's going to go through. So I traced it out and then just cut it with a knife and smoothed over the edges with the wet sponge again. Okay, so this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. I think I've decided the best way to do the yarn thing is to do this little swirl. And then for the jack-o'-lantern face, I think I'm just going to paint it on the other side. So I just kind of need this to firm up enough to where I can take it off the bowl and then smooth out the inside. And then I can paint it tomorrow. And then for my little, this is my little paintbrush holder. Yes, I'm using a banana to hold it because that's the proper height. So this is my paintbrush holder, and then this is my little chopstick holder, which is a dumpling, which I thought was very fitting. So once those dry again tomorrow, then I can go ahead and paint them as well. Okay, it is day 2, and we have our ceramic items, our clay items, I meant. So this is the bowl. The inside's a little rough because I wasn't able to smooth it over because I really just needed it to dry on that bowl. So the inside's just gonna look a little ratty, but I got my little loopity here. So this is ready to be painted. And then my little extras, I have my little worm guy for my paintbrushes, and then my dumpling for my chopstick holder. So yeah, pretty much today we just have to paint these guys and then put some Mod Podge on them and then let them dry, and then tomorrow I can film the final look. I'm still questioning where I want to put the pumpkin face on this because I feel like if I were to put it in like the back here on the opposite side of the little twisty, then it's not like the greatest to see. So I was kind of thinking maybe I could put it like here and then make this be like a vine or something, and then like paint a vine on the other side, and then just have like the pumpkin face be here. I'll play around with it a bit and see how I feel. So yeah, let's go ahead and get to painting these bad boys. To paint the flowers on my little worm, I used this little ball tool that came in my clay sculpting kit, and I just kind of dipped it into paint and made these little circles, and I think it turned out pretty cute. And now this is where I started to get the Enoch idea, because this orange, it looks a lot brighter on the screen, but in real life it's a lot darker. It was just not the orange that I wanted, but I'd already mixed so much of this paint that I needed to use it. And thus the Enoch idea was born. So then I made a lighter orange and then colored alternating panels with that. And then from there I decided to paint the little green strips on the inside of this bowl to emulate the little ribbons that Enoch has at the bottom of his pumpkin. Okay, so slight change of plans, because while I was painting this bowl, the orange that I had mixed up was not the greatest of oranges, so I kind of went with it anyways, and that kind of sparked an idea. So instead of doing a jack-o'-lantern, I'm going to make an Enoch pumpkin bowl from over the garden wall. Because I felt like the darker orange that I'd mixed up was kind of like Enoch-esque, and so I mixed up like a lighter one, and then I varied the little panels that I had on the pumpkin, and then I did make the inside striped like the ends of Enoch's little pumpkin head, and now I am drawing his face, and I'm gonna paint his face. So we are getting an Enoch over the garden wall bowl. My little worm dude is done. He's ready for some Mod Podge. And then my little dumpling is done as well. Also ready for some Mod Podge. So once I get the face painted on this and then a little bit of details covered up, I can then Mod Podge Enoch. And I did decide to put his face on the opposite side of the yarn thing. So basically when I'm using it, the face will be facing away from me, but that's just the best way that I could paint it on. And it's still functional. So I think this will work out swimmingly. But yeah, let's go ahead and get Enoch painted here. I decided to use Sharpie for his teeth because I figured that was the cleanest way that I was going to get the lines on here, and it ended up working really well. And now we can finally start with the Mod Podge. So everything, the worm, the dumpling, and the bowl get Mod Podged. And then tragedy struck and my little swirly yarn thingy fell off. But we push forward and I will glue it on later so the rest of the bowl gets Mod Podged, and then we are ready for the final look. Okay, I have super glued my little yarn guy back on. And since I cannot sit here and hold it, I have masking tape on both sides that hopefully comes off well after this is all stuck, and then I will re-Mod Podge anything that needs to be re-Mod Podged and painted. So hopefully this stays this time. Fingers crossed. Well, here's my little Enoch bowl. I think this turned out pretty good. I do have some grievances, however. So when I was first placing the bowl or the clay on the bowl that I was molding it around, it left like little ring marks that are not like the actual ring. And I could not do anything to fix that. And then also I wasn't able to like smooth out the inside, so the inside looks real rough, but the outside looks pretty good, pretty smooth. And then of course yesterday my little yarn part did break off, so that's kind of glued on right now. And then I think if I were to do this again, I wish the shape was a little less out like this and more up like that. But it is a still functioning yarn bowl, so I think it's a pretty good success. When I was trying to like mold it before I had thought of the idea of molding it around a bowl, it was not working out so well. But once I did get the bowl involved, I think I just need a different shaped bowl, and it would work great. I just didn't have quite the bowl that I wanted. I think my favorite thing though was this little guy, my little worm dude. I think the flowers are really cute. And honestly, I needed this for so long, so I'm glad that I finally got around to making one. As well as my little dumpling. This also I very much needed because I just keep laying my chopsticks places, and I definitely needed a little holder for them. So yeah, thanks for joining me on a little crafty week. I think the last minute Enoch decision was a happy accident, although when it's sitting like flat, you can hardly see the face, which is another reason why I wish the bowl was a bit up more rather than like splayed out, because you cannot tell that this is Enoch from this angle here. But I do like that I made the inside his little like ribbons. I could have painted them better, but at that point I was just kind of like going for it. And I still, if you don't look too closely, I still think it's cute. So yeah. So anywho to do, if you like what I did, go and like and subscribe. I post most Saturdays, mostly at noon, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching!